Awesome. Welcome, Stephanie. Thank you again for taking time out of your day. I really appreciate it, hopping on with me. Um, let's kind of start from the beginning. I know you just completed, it was your first deal, right?
Yes.
Perfect. So you just got paid out on your first surplus funds deal. Um, can I ask how much you made on the deal?
My portion, 4,200, I think 81 and
Okay.
some cents. I don't remember.
Awesome. Very cool. So that was your first deal. That's excellent. That's really good. How did you, let's go from the beginning and kind of, to from the beginning to now. How did you get started in surplus funds, or how did you find out about it? Tell us kind of the background of how you got in.
Well, normally my background is women's health, so I teach like sex ed education, childbirth, postpartum. So this is totally like off my
Okay.
thing. And my partner is the one who is trying to get onto real estate.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if Overages was one of them, and he purchased Bill's or Bill, is
Bob.
it Bill? Bob, there you go. I know it's that would be a Bob's course, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't like it. It's so like not trend or like updated, or I don't know. I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Then, but I like the idea of it. I was like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. It doesn't seem like super crazy. And I was just researching because I got curious. And
Mhm.
then I got introduced to you and YouTube. And then I liked that you were there talking, getting to know people, like, I'm getting to know who you are, that you're a real person. And you're currently doing it and you're just educating. So then I know income tax came, and I was looking into your course and I said, I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. And I like that he's using Teachable. So to me, it seemed more current.
Mhm.
It wasn't something old. So then I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And he said, okay. And then I was just like a scary cat because it's just like this is not my niche. And
Yeah.
I was hoping like someone will walk me through, like have him here with me. We're doing it together, but it was more like, okay, I'm gonna have to do it solo. Um, and I think it took me a year before I even tried because I would go into the course and I'd be like, what is this stuff? Like my brain was just like so hard to grasp the idea and like
Yeah.
picture because it's not my thing. It's just like foreign.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, stop getting overwhelmed, Stephanie. Let's just take it one step at a time. So I didn't even do your whole course. I was just like, step one, do that.
Yeah.
Step two, do that. And then more financially, I was being more financial. So I have a little bit of money to spare. And I saw your coaching and I was like, well, if I got where I'm at in my business, because I hired a business coach, I need to be with someone who's doing it who could help me in that stuck where I feel like insecure or like doubting or, to push me because that's what I need. That's the person.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
Wow. That's awesome. I actually didn't know that. So you had no real estate background whatsoever. This was a completely foreign concept. And so you were able to go through the program and learn about it and then execute on what you learned. That's awesome. And like, mad respect to you. It definitely helps to have real estate, but it's just a testament that's like anybody can do this as long as they're
Mhm.
willing to learn and execute on what they learn. It doesn't matter your background. You don't need any special education or special experience or licenses. Anyone can do this. Um, and the part where you talked about how you just went back and you just would do step one and step
Mhm.
two. I think that's like I think a lot of people miss that. And because here's the thing, like if you do go through the entire course without actually putting into action, you will feel extremely overwhelmed because it's a lot of information. And that's with anything where you learn something new. And so that's why I put those action steps in there. It's like, okay, once you've completed step one, here's what you need to do. Go do this and then move on. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think I still haven't even complete 100% of your course. Just like
Which,
I'm just right here.
which
That's
is
it.
amazing. And that I'm glad you brought that up too, because here's the thing. You don't like you don't need to complete 100% of the course to see results. In fact, it's better to put into practice as you go rather than go through the whole thing. Because like, I mean, just because you're able to do your deal, and so that's evidence. Like, I try to put as much as I can into the course because I want to shorten people's learning curve, but it's always difficult because I'm like, I don't want to overwhelm people, but I want them to have the info they need to be successful. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think I just want to highlight that golden nugget. It's like, just do the action steps as you go through and you will see results. You don't have to watch every single video in order to see a result.
Yeah, I think I guess I went to module 2 and then 3 times I went back to module 1 until the third time I was like, okay, stop making excuses, Stephanie, just do it, you know? And I was just like, my other side's like, no, we should not do it because we need someone. Like, I don't know. I was just making all these like excuses in my head because I was just like, oh, like this was so like, I don't know, weird. But yeah.
That's normal. I mean, that's whenever we learn something new, it's very normal to talk us out of something. So let's actually stay on that for a minute. What are kind of some of the hesitations or the fears that you had either before or once you got into it? What was keeping you from taking action, and what ultimately did you do to overcome those obstacles and those fears?
Well, definitely like this is not my niche, so it's not like I have this huge passion. So like for example, like sex ed, I'm like, yeah, I could talk to you all about it. Let's do your options. Let's talk about consent. Let's talk about birth. Let's give you like the best. And like I could just like go on and just like automatically like dive in like crazy. And this was more like, okay, well, if I want to help health disparities and be very flexible on my charges, I want something that, you know, I could build that could kind of bring a little bit more extra money and big bucks and be a little bit less stress. So
Yep.
that's what I'm kind of thinking in that sense. So that's why I was like, okay, but then looking into it and feeling like um you know, I kind of wanted like this like partner team, but he's not ready. And so I'm just kind of like, oh, I kind of want to do it. I don't want to just wait, you know? And so that was kind of like the hesitation, like feeling lonely kind of thing, like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I just paid like 1,000 something for that course. And I'm just like, yeah, but I don't know, like, is it even real? Is it even possible? Is it even hard? Because I remember he tried it once with Bob's course and it just nothing happened. And I was just like, did it because it's not really working, or is it because you're not doing the actions, or you're not getting that support? Like, what is it? So when I did it, when I finally said, okay, here's a list that's just been sitting here for like months, you know, I'm just like, I don't even know if it's even good. So I'm going down, trying to learn, trying to understand. Also reading, I get overwhelmed with reading, and just like the way that the court papers look, it's just could be like scary.
Yeah.
Um, so just breathing, you know, like I have dyslexia, and so my brain already automatic goes like stress, 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 you know? So then just breathing and just taking one paragraph at a time and just like, it's okay, we're doing this. Um and then when I said, okay, this is a good lead, this is not a good lead. I think from like 7 leads, I went from 2 or 3, and I think it was 2. No, 3, it was 3. And then I went to a tracing, and also another one was like scary, like wish tracing is better. And I think I was already in one of your coaching, and you're saying, or your training, I think it was your training. And it was saying don't just go on the first one or the second one, but the third listing of relatives.
Yeah. 3
I
levels.
was just like, okay, so then I got detached. I was like, this is not for me. This is for someone else, you know? So I'm just like, this is not for me. This is not for me. I'm doing this for someone else. So I had to like make my brain think something else. And I found a tracer, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. You know, it's like I have the funds, I don't gotta stress. And I started finding the person, and I found the person. I was like, oh, okay, everything's matching. Okay, okay. And I did it in one day. Like it was just like search, confirmed, found the people, and pretend I'm calling for someone else, not for me, and just going up nowhere, like, it's okay, no one answers, okay, no one answers, and finally someone answers, and I'm like, oh, here's the script, and I practice the script a little. And I have sales background, so I could do sales and I could conversate and I could lead people to the next step easily. So
Nice.
I'm happy for my business coach who taught me that.
Yeah.
Um, so then when I did that, I spoke to one guy and he's already saying, "Oh no, I figured it out. I know I have money. I have a friend who's in the court and da, da, da." And I'm like, "Wish you the best luck. If you have any questions, reach out to me and I could help you, you know?" So
Mhm.
then I was like, okay, never mind, not that guy. Then I went to find this other person, but that was a very complex, like, case. I think they had like 11 and people who could get that money, which it was like nothing,
Yeah,
and they
11.
didn't talk and everything. So it was really interesting to find those information. I was like, wow, okay, you you tend to like find a lot of information.
Yeah.
Um, and then I got the last one, but I contact the brother. Then the brother c connected me with him, and then that's how I was just like, "What?" Like, I found a person within a day, you know, like, it was just pretty cool that I was able to at least connect with people who know what I was talking about in a day, 3 people, and I was like, "Oh, that was easy. Okay, then it's not that hard." So I was like, "It's all in my head then." And within 2 days, I was able to connect with that brother who was, like, the claimant,
Yep.
and then I think it took, like, 2 weeks to, because again, sales, I did that whole sale pressure kind of thing timeline, and there's a day due and blah, 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 and then he signed it, and then when he signed it, I was like, "No, he just did not sign the contract." I was like, "What?" So, like, just jumping, I'm like, "Oh, I guess that was that easy." So I think within 2 weeks, I did that whole, like, closing.
Wow.
So I was like, "Okay," and then in the end, he became a little bit intense of personality, so it was, like, a lot of customer service, and then I was just like, "Oh, this is too much," like, just rude person, like, it's like, "This is too much to handle."
Yeah.
And, and then we get paid, so it took a while. That was, like, the only thing that was just, like, a waiting game, and I was just like, "Should I continue?" I was like, "I don't know, maybe until I get that first check, maybe it'll become real," like,
Yes.
I don't know. I just still didn't believe it.
Yep.
Oh, that's why.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's amazing. And that there's so many. It's amazing too that you got like that, just in a day you're able to connect with that person or connect with a potential client. But I also kind of want to highlight the fact that you overcame a lot of obstacles, like a lot of obstacles. I mean, here you have you've your partner has gone through another program and didn't have success with that one. So you're already doubting it going into the whole, business, right? But you stuck with it and you're like, okay, I'm going to test it. I'm going to try this out. I'm going to do the work, right? So you created your list, you did your skip trace, your research. I loved how you narrowed down. Okay, you said you started with 7, then you narrowed it down to like the top 3. Beautiful. Love that. Um, First guy, you know, already knew about it, had it taken care of. Cool, fine, that's normal. Second case was a little more, 11 errors. Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that deal either. And then that third one, you connected through a relative. And that's a gold nugget too, guys. Like, here's the thing, like, it's rare that you connect directly with the claimant. Usually you're going to connect with them through somebody else, like in your case. But you had to do all this stuff until you got to that point. And so it's, just mad respect for overcoming all those obstacles. Because here's the mistake a lot of people make: at any one of those obstacles, people will stop. Okay. So, like, for example, maybe they've built a list, but then they're like, oh, I'm not going to contact anyone. Or maybe they have a list and they contact that first person, and the first person says, I'm good. It's already taken care of. And then people get discouraged and they quit. Or maybe they get to the second one and nobody responds. Nobody responds to their text or their phone or their letter, and they get discouraged and they stop. It's usually like the last effort that you make, whether it's in a day or what maybe it's the last lead on your list. You know, it's that point where you want to quit, but you decide to keep going. That's where the magic happens.
Mhm.
So that's amazing. What
Yeah, I
did you?
think the first guy, that already was he knew what was going on and he was getting the support. I first reached out to the aunt, and then
Mm,
the aunt gave me his number. Then I did like a whole voicemail text kind of thing, and
yep.
then I remember his name was John because it's the same name as his dad
Mm,
and whatever. But yeah.
that's awesome. What did you feel when the check arrived?
When you text me like, "Oh, we got cashed out," and I was like, "What? Like for reals?" Like I was like, "Oh, this is so cool. Okay." And then I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna be patient. I'm not gonna bug Nick and say when is it gonna come." And so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna give it this so many days." And then I text you like when would it come? You know? And then yesterday I got it, and I was just like, oh my God, like, I was just jumping, like, "It's for real, and it's under my name," you know? I was just like, "I did this," you know? So I was, like, super excited. I was just jumping while I'm waiting for my child's bus to come, and my other daughter's like, "What?" And I was like, "This, cause you don't understand." I'm all jumping, like, I was like, "Ah," you know, so excited.
That's awesome.
So so yeah, it was just like really cool. It was just like, wow, this is real, you know, like this is for reals. And it wasn't even that hard because I thought it was gonna be super difficult to find people, but in a day, and I think it took me like maybe 2 hours to do that work. I think less because I thought it was like, "Oh my God, I contact someone," and I spoke to them, and even though they were, like, handling them themselves, it felt really great. I was just like, "I don't care because I actually found someone in the world," you know? So, it was really nice to feel that way. So, I think it took me, like, an hour and a half to, like, find those people,
Wow.
and so I thought it was super easy. So, to me, it was like, "Wow, this was easy," like, I can't believe it. And then just having 3 conversations with that same guy, um, and then on the 3rd time, he signed, and I was, like, doing, like, a timeline. So I was very firm with him because of his personality. I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, this is what I need to do." I had to be, like, not the boss, but very affirmative, like,
Yeah.
"This is how it works, this is what it is. You don't do it this time, it's gonna raise up the percentage." So I would suggest, if you want me to honor it, you know, you just sign it by 11 p.m. this day, you know?
I like that.
So
That's definitely a good kind of a sales approach, and I like that you tailored your method to the person's personality, because I know this gentleman kind of has a rough background, if I remember correctly, and
mhm,
you know, sometimes that's what somebody needs, is a little firm, and giving someone a deadline can definitely help motivate them to either make a decision either way, because that's ultimately what we want. We don't want a bunch of maybes. It's either yes or no, you know, that way we're not wasting time on someone that's really not going to do anything. So I love that. I love that you set a deadline for him, and you know, he decided to move forward.
mhm. So now I'm just like, "Okay, I'm gonna go back at it and do it," you know, because at first I was like, "I don't know," and, like, you know, I just like, "Is it that real?" Like, I don't know, I was just, like, worried, and
Yeah.
because it's kinda, like, not my thing or my passion or something I'm just, like, fired up for, you know? I do love that you're looking for things and you're helping people to get some money back, so I love that.
Yeah.
Mhm. I just you know, it's just something different than what I do.
Yeah. And I think that's awesome. Like, you're an expert in your health education. That's your thing. That's what obviously what you're passionate about. That's what you're knowledgeable in, you're an expert in. But I like that you're using this just as kind of a side income to kind of, you know, benefit you and your family, and you know, fuel that other business. Okay. I think that's awesome. And I think that's a great thing to point out too, is that you don't have to be passionate about this work. You don't have to love it. You know, here's the thing, like, am I passionate about surplus funds or overages? Not really. What I love about it is the freedom that it's given me. It's not that I'm passionate about the work itself, although it's good work and it makes a difference. But for me, it's a means to the end, right? And so And I think that's important to understand. Like, if you are passionate about the work, that's a bonus, but it's not a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to decide is, can this business help you get where you want to go and accomplish whatever goal it is you're seeking?
Right, because I mean, I'm gonna pay one credit card off, and I was like, yay, and then I'll have like at least 1 month of emergency savings. So like, say my job says, oh, you're fired. At least I have 1 month, like a whole month, and that's a big chunk. And I'm just like, I was like, I might go visit my friend in Santa Fe now. Like I have this money. Like even actually a little bit extra after all that.
Yeah.
And so it just gives that to be changing that cycle of my family that were sucked in finance. They sucked in finance. They were horrible and they didn't have that empowerment of financial literacy that
Mhm.
I've been like trying to learn and become. And
Yep.
so it's just nice to be, this is where I'm enticing my children, like, look, if you guys help me, you guys get a small percentage. Now I could be like, look, it's for reals, like,
Yep.
and see my family, because, my children are like, well, I want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, but then you could like sit down for like an hour and support and help here. And you could be doing whatever you want. And so I'm trying to like change also that cycle, my family to think out of the box, not just school, um, not just a job, but you know, so later you start investing and becoming more skillful that way.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing. Like, now that you know it's real, that will never go away. And
Mhm.
you have that skill that you can continue to use to better your family's financial situation, as well as teach to your children or get them involved. And ultimately, I think we all desire that financial stability. And what I've learned is that it comes through the skill sets that we have and the knowledge that we have. The more skilled we are in serving and helping others in any facet, the great, the greater the likelihood that we're going to be able to increase our income. And as we increase our income, we save, build the emergency fund like you're talking about. Excellent step, pay off that credit card debt. Like now the ball is starting to roll for you and you're moving in the right direction.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's
because whenever I was paying that credit card, I just pay it to this other credit card for my computer that I needed to purchase for my job, and it's just like double affecting that quicker and avoiding so much interest on
yeah,
that credit card. And it just feels nice to be like, well, at least I have 1 month. Like I know I am good in that sense, and yeah, it just.
that's awesome.
Mhm.
Then when you do your next deal, you'll have 3 months, and then eventually you'll get to 6 months, and then you start invest. It's a process, but
Yeah.
you've started, and that is the beautiful thing. Most people don't ever start.
Yeah, I think now my goal is to like do 3 deals in a very short time, so then you get quicker the checks, because I think that's like the only thing that it's not fast, it's not like, okay, here, bump, 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 you have to like just wait.
Yep.
Um, and I have my job, I have other things that are sustaining what I need to do, but once that kind of like domino effects, you just have more flexibility and more possibilities. And if you know how to budget and um be have those boundaries and healthy relationship with money, then there's a lot of stuff you could do, and so I'm excited for that.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
It's so great. It's such a so many gold nuggets, and I'm so happy for you, so proud of you for getting this deal done. And it's amazing that we are our we're our how do I put this? We're our number one asset, but we're also our number one enemy, right? And
Mhm.
what I mean by that is, our mindset. And imagine if you had taken action immediately once you got the course.
I know, when I was like all scary cat, like I don't know, and then I'll do the first video or two and I'll be like, what? Let me
Yeah,
just process that. And then I try it again and I'll be like, I think I get it, but God, why does my brain hurt? Like my brain hurts so mad. And then I waited for the longest time and I was like, okay, Stephanie, you want things to change, you gotta do something different. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit down here again. And then I was like, fine, pause, go do that.
Yep.
Pause and go do that. I just had to do that. And it was nice to be in your coaching because I could just go and listen to other people, and other people are having success too, or they're saying they're working on this case, and it's like, okay, this sounds real. And and I think I did it because of you, because you keep teaching and educating and you're being current. And that seems real as well.
Yep.
And then asking you questions, and it's like, okay, you have at least a little cushion there versus like trying to do solo and trying what if. And then so when the guy signed the contract, I went to jump into like how to find an attorney, and I try to do that and nobody responds, and I'm just like, ugh, I can't wait too long. So I mean, at least we have the option to partner with you. And I was just like, okay, I don't care. And many people might say like, well, I want to get the full 7,000 because that's what I could have gotten if I did it by myself with an attorney. But I was just like, I don't care. It's better than nothing, and I have to make sure I right away like get this going for this person too, and so it was nice to have that where you already have so much experience and you already have other connections that you could connect with an attorney really quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an option for if people want it, and if they don't need to use it. If they do, they use it. Win-win.
Yeah. So like every time I'm gonna do a deal, I'm gonna try to find an attorney, but if I don't, it's just like easier to like plan B, something than nothing, and it's just drive the process.
Yep, exactly. And then you can use that time that, the time you may spend, trying to find an attorney can be spent actually getting more deals. So it's whatever works for someone. Any final things you want to share? Any words of advice for someone has gotten started or is looking into getting started? What would you tell them?
Um, well, definitely listen to your videos and follow you because I felt that really made a big difference for me since um I know I do a lot of online stuff, and this is why they tell us you go live, do consistent lives so they could see that you're a real person. And so that was already like a plus for me, like boom, okay. And um doing step by step, unless you're a different person how they think. But just do that action, like learn something, go do it. Learn something, go do it. And I think coaching and messing on the coaching, even though if you're like me who doesn't go for months, because you're just like, I don't know, I'm waiting. I mean, still, like it's good to have someone because you can always go ask or tune in when other people are struggling or have their challenges and learn different things. Because even though I was waiting, and there's times I would just go on the coaching, I learned something new,
Yeah.
and it's just weird that the more I will go, I will grasp things. I was just like, wow, I could now talk this language and explain things. And I feel like I'm the coolest one when I go to real estate meetings because no one's doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I do overages. What is that? Let me just tell you how cool it is, So
Oh,
everyone's doing everything else
yeah.
and they're not doing overages. So it just feels cool.
It is.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Even though I don't know their language, I'm just like, yeah, I do overages.
It's unique for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Make
Well,
the difference.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. I really appreciate it again. And I appreciate you hopping on and taking time out of your day. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for your support.